Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Installment Scout Selections here for Tuesday, March 30th. Before getting today's play of the day, quick recap of what happened yesterday. We ended up having a pretty good day. Ended up losing the play of the day, unfortunately, with UConn minus 3.5 on the women's side and minus 115 on Bet Online. You ever have one of those feelings where you handicap a game completely correctly and you still find a way to lose the bet? That's how I felt about the UConn game. Everything I said about that game pretty much happened. I said UConn would take a ton of money, go from probably minus 3.5 to minus 5.5 or minus 6, close to 5.5. I said that Baylor would have no answers for Paige Buchers. She ended up having 30-plus points. Yet UConn was up 7 with less than 5 minutes left with the ball in a wide-open layup. Unfortunately, UConn center missed it. And then the wheels fell off for UConn offensively. Up 7 less than 5 minutes ago, a top-5 offense in the country. Hit 0 shots from the floor. Only scored 3 points in the last 4-plus minutes and only won the game by 2. Pretty upsetting. Bunch of missed layups, bunch of missed free throws. But at the end of the day, it ended up being a 2-point line move, so I can't really complain too much. But at the end of the day, UConn, if they just made any shot of any kind in the last couple of minutes, you would end up picking up a winner. But other than that, though, the college basketball plays for the contest, which are on the premium side, did very well. Went 3-1 yesterday, with the one loss being the Baylor under, which ended up not happening because of the insane first half between them and Arkansas. But for the contest itself, I believe I'm still in first place. 3-1 yesterday, solid. So once again, if you do all my college basketball plays, I'm sorry I'm not doing them anymore for the play of the day videos, but I got to keep it fair for the people that are paying for it. So for that reason, I'm not going to be talking about it. So with that being said, we're going to be going back to the NBA here on Tuesday on March 30th. And the play of the day is going to be on the Los Angeles Clippers as they take on the Orlando Magic. And that game will be taking place at 10 p.m. Eastern time. And the play of the day is going to be on the Clippers, minus 10 and minus 110 on DraftKings. Time recording of 1:50 a.m. Eastern time. A couple reasons why I like the Clippers in the spot. First of all, looking at both teams so far this season, Orlando, of course, has been awful, and Los Angeles is still one of the best teams in the Western Conference. Orlando is 15-31 overall, 5-16 on the road. Meanwhile, Los Angeles is 32-16, 17-6 at home. Orlando, of course, is even worse than the record indicates because pretty much all of those wins, all of those wins came when they still had Vucevic, Aaron Gordon, and Fournier, who were the 3 best players before Orlando ended up becoming huge sellers at the trade deadline and traded absolutely everybody. Now, even before all 3 of them got traded, Orlando's offense has really been underwhelming all season long. Orlando has scored less than 106 points in 8 of its last 10 games. And with the new offensive lineup you saw with that new personnel, which isn't very good, they really couldn't do anything offensively against the Lakers, and I do think they're going to struggle offensively against the Clippers in this matchup. On the other hand, the Clippers have been really good lately. Now, I know that the Clippers have kind of been flying under the radar a little bit. People keep talking about Philadelphia. People keep talking about Brooklyn, and the Clippers didn't really do much during the trade deadline besides picking up Rondo. But the Clippers might actually be playing the best basketball in the entire league. The Clippers have won 6 straight games, and they're also 6-0 ATS during that streak. So the Clippers have been money-making machines, and I feel like not enough people have been noticing how well that this team has played lately. Now, looking at some of the efficiency numbers in comparison for both teams, Los Angeles is better in every single area. Los Angeles ranks 2nd in offensive efficiency. Orlando is tied for 27th. Meanwhile, Los Angeles is also tied for 13th in defense efficiency. Orlando is 19th. And Los Angeles is tied for 6th in rebounding rate. Orlando is 15th. So with Los Angeles dominating all 3 areas, I do think Orlando, especially with this tank unit, is going to have some serious problems against one of the hottest teams in the league on the road on Tuesday. Plus, somebody might be wondering, well, the Clippers did end up playing against the Bucks yesterday. Are you concerned about fatigue on a back-to-back? And for most teams, you would be. However, the Clippers have been phenomenal in this spot all season long. The Clippers so far this season are 8-0 ATS on the second night of a back-to-back this season. So this team has thrived under this type of situation, and I don't think fatigue's going to play much of a factor at all. Plus, Orlando has been terrible against Los Angeles over the last couple of years. Orlando is 0-5 ATS in the last 5 meetings. The Clippers have dominated this type of matchup in previous years, and I do think that's going to be the case once again in this matchup. Now, of course, with the Clippers, you do have to pray to the injury gods a little bit and hope that Kawhi and Paul George, or at least one of them, end up playing in this game, because Paul George did not play against Milwaukee yesterday. However, the Clippers still killed them and still won by 20-plus. So Paul George's absence really wasn't noticed that much. Of course, Kawhi, you always have to wonder about not playing on a back-to-back. But at the end of the day, I'm going to have to try to take a gamble there a little bit because you've already seen a lot of line movement on the Clippers. I do think that if Kawhi is announced to play, and even if Paul George plays, you should see a ton of line movement in favor of the Clippers. This line, when I was about to start recording, did move up a couple of points. It ended up moving in juice from Fox Bet from minus 110 to minus 118. Plus, I saw FanDuel move from -10 to -10.5. So you have already seen a lot of Clippers money, and I do think you will see more money, assuming that Kawhi is actually able to go in this matchup. But looking at everything else that I just said, Orlando's team is awful. With the current roster, you can argue that they're probably the worst team in the entire league. And the Clippers have been playing phenomenal basketball and are still undefeated ATS, both on the winning streak and in the second night of back-to-back. So I got to take the Clippers at home in this match. The play that I, once again, here on Tuesday, March 30th, is going to be on the Clippers, -10 and -110 on DraftKings. That's been Solomon Scott. So I can go to all of you and respect the best today. Bye, everyone.